It is my honor and my privilege to introduce today's guest speaker. Tyler Norton is the legendary founder of ASEA. Tyler is a world-class business strategist, and this has been a major contributing factor to ASEA's incredible success over the past 10 years. But more than that, Tyler is a true humanitarian. Tyler has taught the ASEA ethos on a daily basis since the very early beginnings of ASEA, and his teachings have transformed and uplifted the lives of tens of thousands of people around the globe. We are so grateful that Tyler Norton is with us today to share his 2021 ASEA New Year's message. With that, I will hand it over to Tyler. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Trish. What a treasure to be with you today. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Well, it's a delight to be with all of you today here on our first 2021 Charge Up Call. I feel so privileged and honored to be here with all of you, and certainly honored to be introduced by our beloved Trish Schwenkler. Trish, we love you and thank you for your incredible, inspiring leadership. Today, I would like to speak to you about the importance of something very simple. I'm beginning to believe that simplicity is something we need to focus on in 2021. I think we would all agree that complexity was very much part of 2020. And I feel a desire in my heart to simplify and to think about this year and say, what can I do to make the complex become simple? Now, I would like to suggest to you that there's a saying in English that says that simplicity is found on the far side of complexity. That to get to a place of simplicity, sometimes you have to go through complexity to get there. But as I've been pondering and thinking about what I'd like to share today, I want you to know that what I'm going to share to you may sound simple, but it's proven. It's gone through the complexity of years and years of trying to get to clarity. And now the simple things I'm going to share with you today are proven. They are things that have been proven in the fire of complexity, but they can be simplified for you. And I know that Trish and other great leaders throughout this company would tell you, if you'll simply focus on the simple and keep it simple, 2021 will be your best year ever. And that's my goal. I'm speaking today about our ASEA Success Guide. We have a very basic guide that I think is underutilized and that most people are not aware of. And I think people are making this more complex at times than it needs to be. There are 8 steps in our guide, and I'd like to just review them and share a few thoughts and insights from my perspective about each one. The very first step in the ASEA Success Guide is very basic, and it says, be your own case study. In other words, are we using our products effectively and appropriately in our own lives and in our families' lives in such a way that we are in tune with how the benefits of the products are manifesting in our lives? And I think that's the very first and most important step. And it is obvious, and I think all of you are doing it and doing it well. The second step, I believe, needs to be checked in with, and it's called clarity and conviction. How clear are you on why you are here? How clear are you in your heart and mind, and have you written down what it is that you want from ASEA in 2021? Why are you here, and why is ASEA something you've chosen to make a part of your life personally and as a professional endeavor? Suppose you and I were having lunch together right now, and I asked you simply to share with me the clarity of why you're doing this. Maybe that you're sharing ASEA with me for the first time, and I want you to tell me, why are you doing this? And you begin to share your why. Would you be able to pull it out on a piece of paper and put it in front of me? That's what I mean when I say clarity has to be early on in your ASEA journey. And I believe you have to check back in on that clarity. We can get tangled in the complexity of things and lose our why, lose the clarity of what it is that originally drew us to ASEA or was our inspiration and our motivation. So the second step in the success guide says, how clear are you? It's called clarity and conviction. How clear are you on why you're doing this and what you want this to be for you? At the same time, it invites you to consider how deep are your beliefs and convictions in yourself, in your products, in your company, and in the network marketing opportunity, which I think has the ability to lift the whole world if we will let it and embrace it. So again, be your own case study. Make sure you're using the product consistently and in a way that reflects your own experience. And then number two, get to clarity and conviction. Now, a word about the success guide. It's in your virtual office. It's in your back office. You can get to it. And if you want to start from scratch and simplify this year like I do, then go find that success guide. And it's literally a guide. It will walk you through the steps. But number one is be your own case study. Number two is to check in on clarity and conviction. How clear are you about what it is that you want to accomplish here and why? Now, the third step in the guide is to set goals and make commitments. Doesn't that sound appropriate for the first week of January of 2021? Hopefully, maybe you've already done some of this for this new year. Set goals and make commitments. I love the concept of commitments. We're all pretty good at setting goals. Sometimes we set it and forget it. You've heard that phrase before. Sometimes we set the goal and then we forget the goal. The way we keep the goal alive is through daily, simple commitments. I've always loved the definition of committed is a set of predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors that separate failure from success. There is no great secret here, and there is no quick shortcut, no microwave way to get to success. You have to simply make the daily commitments that you're willing to do each and every day. These are simple commitments. I'm going to reach out to and speak to 5 people every day about ASEA. It could be I'm going to add 5 names daily or X number of names each week. But setting goals and making commitments. Again, remember, I started the discussion by saying, I want us to simplify this year. I think we need to step back and maybe recommit ourselves to the basic steps found in our success guide. Be your own case study. Make sure you're clear on your why. Make sure you're clear and that you have abiding convictions. Conviction sells and emotions buy. Your convictions will come across in how you speak about this opportunity. Number 3, set goals and make commitments. Commitments are predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors that separate failure from success. So what are those predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors you're willing to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis that will help you to achieve your overarching goals for 2021? Now, once we've got our case study on our own use of the product set, once we've really checked back in with clarity and conviction, we've set goals, we've reaffirmed our commitments, we're ready to build a list. We're ready to sit down and really curate and develop and build out a list. How many of you have an active, breathing, living list? Something that you're inspiring and touching daily. Doesn't matter if it's on paper or if it's in your computer or on your phone, but how many of you could show me a river list, a list that's moving and flowing, not like a pond that's just stuck where the water is stopped, but a true living and breathing list? That list should include people that are coming off of the list, right? People where the timing and the circumstance may not be right for them. I'm fine with that. In fact, I think that's a very important part of making a list come alive. A living list is one that is naturally developing over time. And that list can be built from scratch if you're starting with us for the first day in the first week of 2021. What if you've been with ASEA for a very long time? Maybe you've stopped really thinking about daily touching your living list. The reason I like to think of the list as something that is living and alive is because your job is to be touching it, nurturing it, feeding it, and in some cases, as I mentioned earlier, pruning the list. Isn't it interesting that in a fruit tree, you prune the tree to create more fruit? Sometimes we need to take names off of our list that we've overworked. We've spent too much time hoping something would come from that. And I have found that pruning my list, taking it down to a set group, enables me now to grow it back up with people that are far more interested and naturally engaged in the process. If I could spend 3 hours talking about building a living list, how do I do that? I watch and observe. I keep my eyes open. I look for wonderful qualities and gifts and talents in other people. I like to tell them their gifts and talents and then ask a simple question that they might be interested in something else. I love to ask for referrals. I love to say, who do you know that's an athlete that likes performance and is worried about recovery? Who do you know that's entrepreneurial, that has a spirit to try and to reach out and to knows they can be more? Ask questions and reach out, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can reinvigorate a list. So build a living list. That's step number 4. Again, be your own case study. Number 1, have clarity and conviction. Get to your why and make sure you believe in what it is that you're about to go out and do. Once you've been your own case study and you have strong clarity and conviction, set goals, make commitments, daily, weekly, and monthly commitments. And with that mindset, now start building a living list. Now, of course, once that list is there, I want you to be imperfect doers. I want you to begin to contact these people. But again, conviction sells, emotions buy. Your job is not necessarily to convince. Your job is to speak with conviction about what it is that you're out doing. And then, of course, once you're contacting them, you want to invite them to participate or to experience a tool, to watch a video, to join a call, anything. A 3-way call could be any number of things, but you want to contact and you want to invite. It makes all the sense in the world. That step alone is probably the one where most people have fear. If I could liberate you from your fear about contacting and inviting, I would just tell you this: speak your truth, be comfortable, be positive, and be happy about it. You don't need to concern yourself too much with how they respond. I love the notion of honoring how someone will react or respond to what I have to say. I want to honor their agency. I don't need to overly convince or persuade. I need to speak from a place of conviction. I need to have conviction and clarity about what it is I'm doing. And yes, when I contact them, I want to speak from a place of clarity and conviction, but I love showing a certain amount of refined indifference, lack of concern about how they might respond to me. Once I learned that great secret, that high activity, high contacting, high inviting activity enables me to be calm and relaxed about how anyone might respond. This is when the power for your voice becomes yours. It never happens if you're only talking to a few people at a time. If you're only speaking to just a few people about what you believe in and about this incredible product set and incredible opportunity, then each of those people you're talking with tend to get over attended to. They receive too much attention from you. It feels as if it matters more to you than to them. When you have high activity because you have a living list, you're working that list consistently, which includes pruning and taking branches off the list that may not be the right time and circumstance. When you commit to that process, something very powerful happens. And that opens up your ability to be indifferent to how they respond. What would it feel like? What could it feel like if you spoke to every person and had no concern for how they might react or respond to you? Would we be contacting more? The answer is yes. Would we be liberated and more natural in our approach and communication? The answer is yes, again. So how we contact and invite is informed by how living our list is. if our list is living and growing and expanding, and if we're not afraid to prune off a branch of that tree and say the time and the circumstance and the interest level isn't there right now, I'm going to move on. It's when we over attend, when we pay too much attention to one or two or three people because our list is not living, our list is not growing, we've allowed that list to shrink down, that we tend to over communicate and we make ourselves weaker in the process. Our strength comes from communicating our conviction. Our conviction is not on trial by anyone with whom we speak. If I'm contacting and inviting you to participate in ASEA, to investigate ASEA, to consider this incredible opportunity, and I'm speaking to as many people as I can about it, working from a living list, I'm not on trial. I'm speaking from a place of conviction. And that opens up and liberates your voice. Your voice becomes powerful. It becomes natural. It becomes intriguing, and it promotes curiosity in other people. They start to be curious about what it is you're doing and what it is you feel so strongly about. Can you see why being your own case study to start with, making sure you're using the products, building your own conviction, sharing it with your family, and watching how it shows and expresses influence for good in your family and across our range of products so that you have a deep, abiding conviction. Then moving from that place of being your own case study to increasing your why and clarity, what it is that you want from ASEA in 2021. Write it down. Understand your why, reconnect with that why on a daily basis, and lift up your convictions in what you're doing, in yourself, in the product, and in the people. With that clarity and conviction, set goals. Make clear commitments to what you're going to do on a daily basis. Work closely with your upline and with the people you work with on a daily basis to have a clear set of long and short-term goals. But even more important for me, what are the predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors you're going to manifest on a daily basis that are punctuating evidence of your commitment? Remember, predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors that separate failure from success are commitments. And I think the committed people are the ones who end up having the life everyone else says they want, but they're not willing to be predictable, reliable, and dedicated in their commitments. With those goals and commitments, now build a living list. I'm reviewing the steps. Build a living list. This is step number 4. With that list building and growing, you're adding names to it. You're taking names off of it, aren't you? You're building a living, breathing list. I like to think of it as a river or a tree that's growing. Then, using my predictable, reliable, and dedicated commitments to inviting and contacting, I'm reaching out to that list, but I'm speaking from a place of liberated confidence and conviction, not from a weakened position of trying to convince you of something that I don't think you really want. I have no interest in engaging in that kind of activity. I don't want to try to change the color of your eyes. I can't change your eye color. I can't change anything about someone else, but I can speak from a place of abiding conviction. I can contact every day a certain number of people and invite them to engage in some investigative opportunity with ASEA, whether that's interacting with a video or a tool or joining a call. So please understand that these steps along the way can strengthen and help you as you move through this success guide list. I want you to know that as you share stories and tools, which are the next steps, contact and invite and share stories and tools, you will be sharing something that is so powerful for the world. Please understand, ASEA is unlike anything else in the world. My father was the head of strategy of a $36 billion company when he retired and then found ASEA. When he came to know and understand what this is about, this is the most unique opportunity in the world for anyone, for you to share and reach out to the people on your list and share this story and this opportunity with them. especially in 2021. If you're just joining ASEA right now, if this is your first exposure to ASEA, you are a very blessed person, because our story is unlike any other story in the world. No one else has it. You are now stepping into a position where you have a story to tell unlike anything else. My father's vision saw it very early on. I want to remind you, he started this journey when he was 69 years old. My dad is now 81, and he will tell you the best 10 years of his very, very successful career have been his time helping ASEA to get off the ground. ASEA is the right place in 2021 for you to take these simple tools and put them to use. So after contacting and inviting, you then share the ASEA story, you share a tool. It's only reasonable then for the seventh step to be to follow up and collect a decision. Follow up with people. Why would I initiate contact and invite but not have meaningful follow-up? The great secret to your follow-up, when you reach back to people, do it from a place of indifference. If you have a living list, then for you, it's just as big of a win to have someone say, I'm not interested right now, as it is for someone to say, I am interested. We need to be working both sides of that living list. So step 7, follow up and collect decision. And then lastly, duplicate yourself. Train and share these same steps with the people that are interested in building a business on your team. So be your own case study. Have clarity and conviction, work on that clarity and conviction, set goals, make commitments, right? Build a living list, work the list, prune the tree from time to time, contact and invite from that list with your daily commitments, remembering predictable, reliable, and dedicated behaviors that separate failure from success. Share the ASEA story, share the tools that we have, right? Follow up and collect decisions, and then train others and duplicate yourself. Now, you may be a long-standing network marketer on this call and say, well, these are the basic steps of success. I've found that honest, intelligent, consistent effort in these things always produce rewards and results. I'd like to just pivot and finish. I have a few more minutes and just say that as a company, we just finished our highest sales year in the history of our company. Literally 30 minutes before I joined this call, I jumped online to check with our final sales results for the year. And despite the setbacks in a whole host of things connected with the international pandemic, ASEA has reached record results in our sales, record results in our enrollments. We've grown in every region of the world, and we've never had a down year from the prior year. That is to say that for 10 straight years, we have had consistent year-over-year growth. That would suggest, based on where we finished last year, we're well into the top 50. In fact, the top 40 of all network marketing companies in the world. We're open in 33 marketplaces around the world. This opportunity is global for you. Whether you're in Oklahoma, in the United States, or whether you're in Singapore or Malaysia, you can have a business in the United States and in Europe. I've watched people from small towns in America build businesses all around the world with ASEA. I cannot think of a better opportunity, a better place for anyone on this call to be in 2021 than right here, right now. We have the most unique story in the network marketing industry. We have the most relevant products in the world for people, families, and individuals to take advantage of, especially at times like the ones we live in now. And we have the absolute best culture to bring your unique talents and gifts and let us help you develop those into the most unique you've ever been. The most underutilized resource in the world is the human resource. It's the untapped potential that you have to be what you've always known and sensed you could be. And we are a vehicle, we are an environment where if you let us plant that seed of your potential here with us, you'll never look back. And you'll look back and see relationships and economic outcomes in your life like you've never seen before. But in order to succeed at that, we have to simplify. I want you to become experts at being your own case study, at revisiting your clarity and conviction, at setting goals, right? Making daily, weekly, and monthly commitments. With those goals and commitments clarified, build a living list, a river that's flowing of names and people you can interact with. Then reaching out to that list, contact and invite them. Do it from a place of genuine indifference, speaking from a place of conviction. As you invite, share that ASEA story with them. Share the opportunity, whether that's through a three-way call, through a formal event, or just through you sharing a tool and asking if they'd be willing to watch it. Reach back out and follow up with them. Collect those decisions, remembering that even decisions where the time and circumstance is not right for them is a good one to collect. And then duplicate that process with others who show interest in engaging that way. I want to say thank you to all of you for your incredible contribution to ASEA. You're here for a very special reason. And 2021, if we'll simplify and simply execute against these 8 steps, become experts at these 8 steps, 2021 will be the best year ASEA has ever had, and it'll be the best year that you've ever had. Trish, I thank you for hosting me today, and thank all of you for joining us on this Charge Up call. Let's go make 2021 the best year we've ever had.
Thank you.